Hello and welcome. Today I shall swing the lamp, although I am no old sailor. Picture this, there I was in the spring of 1980, stumbling off a rattling Thai Airways flight in the sweltering embrace of Bangkok. Good Lord, the heat. It was as if I had walked into a steam room fully clothed. I was 31 then, with more hair and fewer opinions, though my friends might dispute the latter. The immigration officer stamped my passport with the efficiency of someone who would rather be anywhere else. A sentiment I briefly shared as I sweated through my inappropriately heavy cotton shirt. How was I to know that British sensibilities about proper attire would prove so impractical in Southeast Asia? However, Bangkok in those days was a magnificent contradiction. The city smelled of jasmine, exhaust fumes and fish sauce, an aromatic trio that somehow worked in perfect harmony. The streets were chaotic but navigable, crowded but not suffocating. Motorcycles weaved between tuk-tuks and taxis with ballistic precision that defined Western notions of traffic laws. I remember thinking, these people have invented an entirely new language of road communication, as I watched a family of four balance precariously on a single motorbike, the youngest child sleeping peacefully amid the harshness. The Chao Phraya River was the city's pulsing artery, bustling with wooden long-tailed boats and laden cargo vessels. I took a river taxi on my second day, paying what amounted to pennies to travel alongside locals going about their daily business. An elderly woman with beetle-stained teeth offered me a piece of mango from a basket. I hesitated, all those warnings about foreign food dancing in my head, but her insistence wore me down. That mango, dear viewers, tasted of sunshine and hospitality. It was the moment Thailand began to seduce me. What struck me most about the Thailand of 1980 was not the grand palaces or ornate temples, magnificent though they were. It was the authentic warmth of the people, a warmth that remained unaffected by the cynicism that often accompanies mass tourism today. When Thais smiled at you then, it was not the practiced smile of someone expecting a tip. It was a genuine greeting from a culture that esteemed kindness and hospitality as fundamental values. Few visitors knew this famous Thai hospitality had deeper historical roots than the land of smiles marketing suggests. During the Ayutthaya period, that was from 1350 to 1767, the kingdom maintained diplomatic relations with nations as distant as France and Persia. King Narayan, in particular, was renowned for his open-minded approach to foreigners, appointing the Greek adventurer Constantine Falcon as his chief minister. A historical nugget that challenges the narrative of an isolated Siam resistance to outside influence. I ventured north to Chiang Mai after a week in Bangkok. The overnight train journey was an education in itself. I shared a compartment with a Buddhist monk, a German backpacker and a Thai university student eager to practice his English. The monk, despite speaking little English, shared his simple meal of rice and vegetables with us. The student translated his explanation. To give is to receive merit. A lesson in Thai Buddhism delivered over dinner on a rattling train. You do not get that in the glossy brochures, do you? Chiang Mai then was a sleepy provincial capital, its moat-surrounded old city housing more temples than tourists. I stayed in a guest house run by a former Muay Thai boxer who insisted on teaching me the basics of the art each morning. "You're too soft," he would laugh as I flinched away from his kicks that seemed designed to separate my limbs from my torso. "European men like delicate flowers." He was not wrong. The night markets were treasure troves of handicraft goods, each stall representing a family's artistic heritage rather than mass-produced trinkets. I bought a hand-carved wooden elephant from an elderly man who told me, through my host's translation, that he had learned his craft from his father, who had carved elephants for King Rama VI. Whether true or a tale spun for a gullible foreigner, it added magic to my purchase. Fast forward some odd 40 years and I find myself once again in Thailand, a country transformed almost beyond recognition. Bangkok's skyline now rivals Manhattan's, a forest of glass and steel where once wooden houses stood. The Chao Phraya is now flanked by luxury hotels and shopping malls selling the same designer brands you would find in London or Paris. Progress, they call it. However, at what cost? The traffic that once seemed like an intricate dance now resembles gridlocked warfare. Air-conditioned mega malls have replaced many of the vibrant street markets. In Phuket and Koh Phi Phi, beaches made famous by Hollywood films groan under the weight of sunburned tourists taking selfies, the sand invisible beneath rows of identical lounge chairs. Most disheartening is the change in the nature of interactions. Tourism has become, well, in my honest opinion, industrialised, with visitors processed rather than welcomed. That genuine warmth that so captivated me has called into transactional cordiality. Not everywhere, mind you. Venture off the beaten track and you can still find the Thailand I fell in love with. But in the major tourist centres, the soul of the places, in my opinion, feels diminished. The commercialisation of culture is perhaps the most significant loss. I watched a traditional dance performed last week in Bangkok, shortened and spiced up for tourist consumption, lacking the tone and spiritual significance of the classical forms. What was once sacred has become a spectacle. Environmental degradation too has taken its toll. Maya Bay, made famous by the film The Beach, was closed to tourists in 2018 to recover from the damage inflicted by up to 5,000 daily visitors. Coral reefs that once teemed with marine life now struggle to survive in waters polluted by boat engines and sunscreen chemicals. Can Thailand reclaim its former magic? I believe it can, but it will require a fundamental rethinking of what tourism should be. The COVID-19 pandemic, for all its horrors, offered a glimpse of what Thailand could be with fewer visitors. Wildlife returned to the beaches, waters cleared, and local communities rediscovered traditional ways of life. The future of Thai tourism should be quality over quantity. Higher value, lower impact visitors staying longer and venturing deeper into authentic experiences would benefit both the environment and local economies. Initiatives like community-based tourism, where visitors stay in villages and learn traditional crafts or farming methods, offer a more sustainable model. Thailand's authorities seem to recognise this need for change. The Tourism Authority of Thailand's Amazing Thailand campaign has evolved to emphasise responsible travel and authentic cultural experiences. Nevertheless, marketing alone is not enough. In my opinion, real change will come from preserving what makes Thailand unique, its natural beauty, cultural heritage and the genuine warmth of its people. This means settling and enforcing limits on development, especially in fragile ecosystems. It means valuing and adequately compensating those who maintain traditional crafts and performing arts. Furthermore, it means educating visitors about respectful behaviour. As for me, I have found my solution. Isaan, the area where my wife was born and raised. The region where our neighbours give us bananas, mangoes, rice, vegetables without expecting anything in return. Where the night market sells crafts made by the person standing before you, not mass produced in the factory. Where Children stare at me. It's with genuine curiosity rather than the prelude to selling me something. If you visit Thailand, and despite my grumbling, I still think you should seek out these places. Venture beyond the well-trodden paths, stay longer in fewer places, learn a few phrases of Thai. You will be amazed how doors open when you make the effort. Support businesses owned by locals rather than international chains. In doing so, you might just glimpse the Thailand that captured my heart some 4 decades ago. Moreover, you might help ensure that 40 years from now, some other grumpy old traveller will not be lamenting paradise lost but celebrating the paradise preserved. So, what are you waiting for? The real Thailand is still out there, beyond the neon and noise. Go find it, respect it, and for heaven's sake, wear lighter clothes than I did. Looking forward to your comments. Bye bye.